What's up, my Yu-Gi Bros? I'm your host, the one, the only, the RJB0. Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Business Casual. So, another week, another Tuesday, trying to destroy me and everything I love. I think I might distract it from everything I love by talking about something I hate, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tiebreaker system. Let's have a judge gripe. So the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tiebreaker system is something that nobody really understands. This is my co-host Shadows, by the way. It is a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Not even most judges really get how the tiebreaker system works. However, we do know one thing, and that one thing is that if a player that you beat drops, your tiebreakers immediately go to hell in a handbasket. Now, this isn't that big of an issue at a larger event, partially because you have more rounds in which to build up your tiebreakers, and also because players are less likely to drop in a larger event because they usually have higher stakes in it and they want to play it out. However, at a local level, this has been causing me some issues, and I know that I am not a unique case. So the story starts when I decided to just, for the heck of it, make a Curry Bandit Soul Charge Agent deck so that I could just play around at locals for a couple of weeks. And it was understandably not the best deck in the world, so I didn't do as amazingly as I usually do. I went like X2 a few weeks in a row. And so, as a result, I ended up getting pretty bad results and ended up sitting at the lower tables, which I wouldn't normally have an issue with, except for what happened next. So, the next week, after I decided to play this crazy agent deck, I decided to play Evils instead, and that deck was having much better results. I basically swept my first 4 rounds, and then I ended up losing in the last round against the one other player who was XO at the time. Now, this would have been awesome. I would have been perfect. I was thinking, my tiebreakers are excellent. The only person I lost to was the guy who won the tournament, ultimately. So I should do pretty well in this tournament. What I didn't know was that the first 3 players that I had played against had all dropped from the tournament. As a result, I ended up finishing that tournament in, like, 9th place as opposed to, like, 2nd place, which, once again, I have no issues with inherently, since I don't really care about place that much. However, the problem was when this started happening week after week. Even after a week when I had won the tournament, I went back and I still ended up at the bottom of the bottom tables. The reason why these players kept dropping was because, understandably, they were the less good players in the room, and they were running less good decks, and so they didn't feel like completing the tournament because they weren't doing so hot. So they would always drop. I would always go X1, and the majority of players that I had played against the first round had dropped. So I end up in this endless cycle of playing against the lower table players. Now, I have no issue with, once again, with getting a lower place on the scoreboard. The scoreboard doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is playing against better players and having a more competitive game and getting to practice and play test more against the better players and against better decks. If I'm sitting at these lower tables week after week after week, I'm playing against not as good decks and usually not as good players as well. So I end up actually in this kind of vortex of scrubbery that is all caused by the darn tiebreaker system. Now, I know that I am not a unique case. I know that there are other players in the game who have this exact same problem, and there are a couple of ways that this problem could be addressed, both on the level of your locals and by Konami themselves. One solution that Dice Age Games, where I go to locals, has been trying is raffling off free packs to any players who stay throughout the entire tournament, who do not drop. So they raffle off packs, which means that you give a motivation of sorts to the players who are not doing as well to get through the entire tournament so that they have a chance of getting free packs out of it. Now, this has worked to some degree, however, there are still players dropping because A, they don't understand that this is happening, and B, they don't like their chances if more players stay in, so they don't feel like there's any reason for them to stay because they aren't going to get the packs anyway. So this solution can work, however, it has to be a little better managed than it has been so far, where I go to locals, and I think I'm going to try and help with that in the near future. One way that we could do this at Konami's level, one way that Konami could solve this problem with tiebreakers absolutely being destroyed by players dropping, is if Konami, just for the purpose of standings, considered a player who has dropped to have lost the rest of their rounds. So say a player goes for 3 rounds and then they decide to drop. Instead of Konami dropping them out of the system, for the purpose of standings, they consider them to have lost all of the rest of their rounds. They don't have any influence on the matchups, and they aren't considered to have played out the rest of the tournament, so it doesn't affect their Cassius score as much, but it does not completely destroy the tiebreakers of the people who played against these guys. So that's just one solution. I want to hear what you guys think. Do you have this issue at your locals, or do you know anybody who does have this issue? And do you have any ideas for how to solve it on your own, or judge gripes of your own that you would like me to talk about? Meanwhile, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you did, let me know why in the comments section below. And of course, subscribe for more deck discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh! Shenanigans. I'm your host, the RJB0. Thank you guys for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! and Business Casual. I got a jet. See you guys.